And showers with some heavy rain continuing to push through the region tonight. The latest details on when we see showers push out coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts right now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we saw some severe weather earlier today and some heavy rain continues to push through the mountains. What can we expect for the rest of the evening? For the latest, let's send it over to meteorologist Evan Hatter on this First Alert Weather Day. Evan.
Well, Steve, the good news is once that severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire a little bit before noon, we have not seen any more severe weather throughout the mountains. That's the good news, but still watching some strong thunderstorms pushing through the region at this hour. Here's a look right now from our front door here at WYMT. Still a soggy day outside as the rain continues here in Hazard. Still a temperature of 70. Rain started now in Wise. They just had the heaviest of the thunderstorms push through there. They're sitting at 57. Level 2 slight risk of severe weather continues along the Kentucky-Tennessee border heading through tonight with the level 1 marginal risk for the southern part of the area. That has come down from earlier today as we continue to watch heavy thunderstorms pushing through parts of the region. In fact, we'll zoom in to parts of the region. Heavy rain right now into portions of Logan County, West Virginia, through parts of Mingo County, West Virginia. Further to the south, still watching some hefty thunderstorms pushing through the eastern parts of Pike County toward Phelps, toward Elkhorn City, just south and east of Williamson. Potential there for 40-mile-per-hour winds with that storm. Some lighter rain in parts of Dickinson and Buchanan counties until you get to some thunderstorms just outside of our area there, the heaviest pushing out of Dickinson and Wise counties at this time. Everything into motion. This whole line of storms continues to push to the east with some steady rain behind it, so we're not done with the rain yet. And backing on out, you see the main threat continues to our south, but we're not done yet. That low is still spinning over the northern plains. So we're not done yet. We still see temperatures very, very mild, upper 50s to near 60. We've already broken the record high today at Jackson. Our First Alert Weather Day continuing through tomorrow morning with the potential for strong to briefly severe thunderstorms, brief gusty winds, and brief heavy rain. The main threats. We'll go through the full timeline coming up in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The Leslie County Area Technology Center is now offering a teaching and learning pathway. The program currently has around 40 students, grades 10th through 12th, and the students learn how to read curriculum requirements, create lesson plans, and even get hands-on experience through a clinical or internship at a local elementary school.
They're going to work there, and they're going to be in the classrooms. They're going to let them choose what grade level they want to go in and just kind of visit around and even get in special ed classrooms. So we feel like that's important. And that just gives them an indication as to whether or not they want to be a teacher.
The school is partnering with Hazard Community and Technical College, so students taking the teaching and learning pathway will soon be able to earn dual credits. Buffalo Bills safety Demar Hamlin remains in critical condition after his heart stopped beating during a game in Cincinnati last night. The team says he is sedated and getting treatment. CBS's Dan Lieberman has the latest.
The family of Buffalo Bills safety Demar Hamlin is thanking first responders, medical personnel, and well-wishers for their support. The 24-year-old remains in critical condition at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center after suffering a cardiac arrest during Monday night's game against the Bengals. Hamlin suddenly collapsed after making a tackle.
The opponent's helmet was in his chest, so he had blunt force trauma to the chest. And in the exact right spot, at the exact right moment during his heartbeat, it caused his heart to have what we call an arrhythmia, not beat effectively to push blood to the brain.
Players on both teams were visibly shaken and offered prayers as the ambulance departed the field. The game was postponed.
There was one face out there on the field, and that was of deep concern, and the players were showing how they felt about this excellent young man.
Fans back in Buffalo were also shaken.
So disturbing, and it was so awful.
Everybody should use this as like a teaching moment where things are bigger than sports.
Hamlin has only been in the NFL for 2 years, and he's already giving back to the community outside Pittsburgh, where he grew up.
Third annual toy drive, man. We're doing it for the kids, having a good time, man.
Following last night's game, supporters have donated millions of dollars to his foundation. Dan Lieberman, CBS News, New York.
And those donations have now topped $4.3 million and still going up. And now word came from the NFL a couple of hours ago that the Bills and Bengals contest will not be resumed, at least this week. They also say that no decision has been made to reschedule the game, nor has any decision been made regarding this weekend schedule, as it is supposed to be the final weekend of the regular season. Demar Hamlin's mother was at the game last night, and so you can only imagine what she's going through right now. Thoughts and prayers continue to pour in for the 24-year-old from Pennsylvania. One of Hamlin's friends and his marketing representative says there are a lot of narratives going around right now and is urging everyone to be patient with the situation.
Be patient right now. I think there's a lot of narratives going around, and a lot of people want certain answers, but this is a human being who has a family, and their well-being, his well-being is what's most important. But I'm excited for him to bounce back from this, because Demar's someone who he will use things like this adversity, and he'll make sure he inspires plenty of other people along the way.
Rooney also went on to say that Hamlin is a fighter and that they are just taking things minute by minute, hour by hour. Medical experts are weighing in after the collapse of Hamlin. Heart doctors say the fact that he received CPR quickly increases his odds of survival. CBS's Jared Hill continues our coverage from New York.
Cardiologists say it's too soon to know what to expect for Bills defensive back Demar Hamlin, who suffered a cardiac arrest after a tackle during Monday night's game.
In the period of time, the 12, 24, 48 hours after a cardiac arrest, that's when you start to see what impact the cardiac arrest had on the rest of the organs of the body.
The 24-year-old safety initially got up after the hit, but then suddenly collapsed. Medical experts say what happened to him is rare.
The opponent's helmet was in his chest, so he had blunt force trauma to the chest. And in the exact right spot, at the exact right moment during his heartbeat, it caused his heart to have what we call an arrhythmia, not beat effectively to push blood to the brain.
First responders were able to restore Hamlin's heartbeat on the field before he was transferred to the hospital.
The longer that the heart and the rest of the body are without oxygen, the worse the outcome.
Cardiologist Lawrence Phillips of NYU Langone Health says the rapid response of medical personnel is key.
CPR, we know, saves lives. And by rapidly responding in a medical emergency, you tremendously increase the likelihood that someone will survive from cardiac arrest.
In addition to CPR, experts also advocate having defibrillators on standby at sporting events to save lives. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Hamlin was treated on the field for nearly 20 minutes before he was taken to UC Medical Center. In a statement, the Bills said, quote, he is currently sedated and listed in critical condition. Of course, if we receive any new information regarding his status, we'll pass that along and have it on our website at WYMT.com. A funeral procession which will take soccer great Pele to his final resting place is underway. The procession started at the stadium where Pele played his home games for former club Santos. His coffin was carried through the streets of the city of Santos, including passing down the street where Pele's 100-year-old mother lives. A private funeral was slated to be held for family members at a cemetery in Santos. The attorney for the suspect in the University of Idaho student killing says his client believes he will be cleared of the charges against him. Brian Kohberger's public defender, Jason Labar, says that his client has a calm demeanor. Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania last week for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in November. He is being held without bail in Pennsylvania. During a hearing this afternoon, Kohberger is expected to waive his extradition back to Idaho. 2 law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation say investigators are focused on Kohberger as a suspect after tracing ownership of a Hyundai Elantra, which had been seen in the area of the killings, to him. The sources also added Kohberger's DNA was matched to genetic material recovered at the home where the students were murdered. We'll have more about this case coming up at 5:30. Representative-elect George Santos of New York is under investigation by the Nassau County District Attorney's Office after it was revealed he fabricated and embellished nearly every part of his resume. The Republican lied about his heritage, education, and professional life when he campaigned and won his congressional seat. Despite calls to resign and not take the oath of office, Santos is not showing any signs of giving up his position. Republican leadership has mostly stayed silent on the issue.
Well, coming up on First at 4, we continue to watch pockets of heavy rain work through the region. The latest on when that soggy weather moves out after this break.
This is a story about